Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Well, it's Sunday evening. We've finished the first Wealth Creators University. I'm standing here on a very, very special bridge. Now, you all know how famous London Bridge is. My estimate is that this bridge will become as famous as London Bridge. But you're going to need to come down to Fhis to find out why this bridge is so special. Now, I want to recap quickly on what we learned today. The very first thing is, here's the formula for riches. Effectively, you've got your intent, and that equals your focus. Now, that equals sign stands for your beliefs. Now, when one looks at it in more detail, because what we covered today in a hell of a lot of detail is this formula for riches. So I'm going to show you here quickly. Here's your focus. You can see here you've got your surplus, you've got your growth, and you've got your risk. Up here, you've got your responsibility, and then you've got your accelerator principle. Now, it might be easier to see the one at the bottom, and this is the one we went into a lot of detail. Once again, you've got your focus, and that equals your surplus. Now, your surplus actually stands for your TEMS. Now, that stands for time and effort. M stands for your mindset, and the S, the dollar sign, is effectively your currency. Let's talk a little bit about that. We spoke quite a lot in depth about time management, because what Fhis said was, without time management, you've got very little chance of actually doing what is important and getting it done. He went through his method of using a to-do list and how each and every day you should be using a to-do list and you should be crossing off what is actually being achieved that day. And the things that are not important should be deleted completely. The next day, you start all over again with a new to-do list. If you achieve this, you will be able to get far more productivity out of your day. He also said that multitasking is the biggest robber of productivity and success. It's a complete myth. You can't be Skyping, SMSing, taking a telephone call, and trying to write an important email all at the same time. So one needs to be very, very careful of that. The second one, if you remember, was the mindset. One of the things he went through in a hell of an amount of detail was what one does with the mindset and how one controls the mindset. But really what's important that I've learned, the biggest take home, is that as a past opportunity seeker, I always had the belief that I could do anything. But I needed to learn the mindset of saying no. I need to learn the mindset of evaluating opportunities, and if they don't suit my criteria, saying no. And the last one is the little dollar sign, and that is your battery. You need, in some businesses, once they're building, you need cash to continue growing them. And it's with that cash and with that currency, you need to know what to do with it. You need to know how to invest it. You need to know how to manage it. And most importantly, you need to know how to get the most effective use out of it. Now let's look at the formula here. So we've looked at the surplus. The next side of things is actually action. So what type of action are you actually going to take? And this is where it's very important to have an action list and to actually get involved and to start doing things that are going to help you get successful. The next one along is the L, which stands for leverage. Now you've got internal leverage and you've got external leverage. Internal leverage is what you do as a wealth creator internally for yourself. External leverage is all the marketing that you do. It's all the external functions that you do within a business to bring more clients in. Now we went through this in a huge amount of detail, but there were three major messages. The bottom line to grow any business is ultimately to get more value out of clients, to get more clients, and to get them more often. And that is what you really need to be able to focus on. The next section is the R, which stands for RE, which is the responsibility. What you need to do is take the responsibility to measure everything that you've done. You need to manage everything that you've done. And then you need to systemize everything that you've done. Now, once you're measuring, you will actually be able to look at the results. Now, if you remember this morning, I spoke about the results and how important they are. If you are getting the right results, you can then go on to the next step, which is the accelerator process. If you're not getting the right results though, you need to go backwards down the formula and you need to work out where you're getting it wrong. But without the management, the measurement and the systems, you have no chance of knowing what you're doing is actually going to work. And if you try and go to the next step in terms of the accelerator principle, in terms of growing your business, and you're doing the wrong thing, you're going to waste money and ultimately you probably will fail. But if you're getting the right results and you've taken the responsibility to track it, the personal responsibility to make sure it happens, or have the right people in place to make sure it happens. Then, once you're getting the results, you can move on to the last step, which is the accelerator principle. And what that is once you've got something that's working, you can either invest more money to get better results or more return on your investment, or you can look to duplicate and ultimately use the system within another business or within another division or within another product. But I think the key here is that once it's working, you can also use it to grow up those business levels. Take your business from a level 3 to a level 4, or even from a level 4 to a level 5, and so on and so on. At the end of the day, what Hannes has given us today is a recipe. It's any formula. It's like a science. I've learned this over time. I love success. I follow and I try and understand and extract as much information out of successful people. And the thing I've learned is they all follow a formula. They don't run around trying to do 20 different things. They have their success formula and they stick to it. And it works time and time and time again. As Gary Player said, the harder you practice, the luckier you get. They always look lucky because they're always in the right place making the right decisions. But it's taken years of experience. It takes their success formula. And ultimately, that's what helps them succeed. Now, what the little secret behind this bridge is, you'll need to come here to find out. But ultimately, when you come here, you will learn how that formula works. And once you have that formula, it doesn't need to take 27 years to be successful. Because as Tony Robbins says, the fastest way to be successful is take people that are actually doing it and copy what they're doing, copy their systems. What Hannes has given here is the systems, the processes, the formula, the recipe, whatever word emanates with you. So I want to leave you with one final thought, which I found absolutely fascinating. And that was what Hannes said about Warren Buffett. Now, I've always wanted to be Richard Branson and build the next Virgin. But to be honest, I learned a very, very important lesson. What Warren Buffett said is that trees can only grow so high. So rather than try and grow the tallest tree in the forest, he's gone out, he's planted many seeds, and he's built up the largest plantation in the world. And that plantation is many, many different income sources. That is very, very wise. With the way the world's going, with change being the only denominator that we can actually rely on, it's far better to have multiple income sources across multiple income streams, across many different markets, because when some markets are rising, others might be falling. So think about it, because 96% of people fail, as I spoke about this morning. But Warren Buffett is the most successful investor in the world, and arguably he's the wealthiest man in the world. So why not follow his formulas? I look forward to you walking across this bridge and learning some lessons that'll change your life. I told you yesterday that this was the start of a brand new journey for me. I look forward to documenting it, giving you hope, showing you how it can be done, and most importantly, giving you the results so that you can go out there and you can achieve the results of whatever you want to do in your life. Thank you for the time, and I can't wait to join you on this bridge.